Alright, folks, we're ready for a good night of wrestling. We are going to announce who's wrestling who tonight. It's a combination of 3 different schools. And a special thank you to Coach Vieiro and Maricopa for coming and filling out our lineups. So I need only guys who are wrestling tonight lined up on the mat. If you're not wrestling, I won't be introducing you. Okay. If you're not wrestling, get off the mat. All right. So at 106 pounds, we have from Santa Cruz, North Navia, and then from Maricopa High School, DK Shelby. At 120 pounds, we have Bryce Coffey, and he is versus Tanner Newsom. At 126 pounds, from San Foothills, Austin Maselli versus Dakota Ballard. At 132 pounds, from San Foothills is Danny McIver versus from Maricopa High School, Angelo Romero. At 138 pounds, from San Foothills, Anthony Hood, and from Florence High School, Donovan Feeney. At 145 pounds, from San Foothills is David Robloff, and from Florence High School, Gronk Cordova. At 152 pounds, from San Foothills is Jared Shumway, and he is wrestling against Wyatt Keller from Maricopa. At 170 pounds, from San Foothills is Jesus Villalobos. He is wrestling from Maricopa High School, Elvis Ruiz. At 182 pounds, Robert Legler is receiving a forfeit. At 195 pounds, from San Foothills, Caleb Dixon. And from Florence High School, Richard Lamb. At 220 pounds, from San Foothills, was Zeke Odo, senior captain. And he is wrestling Jacob Cook from Florence High School. And at the heavyweights, senior captain as well, Dylan Maselli from San Foothills versus from Florence High School, Javian Montanez. We will have one JV match, and from San Foothills is Skylar Ritchie, and from Maricopa is Dahlia Anderson. All right, folks, if you could please turn to the flag, remove your hats, and let us honor our nation. We could have Anthony Hood and Dylan Maselli and Zeke Odo, captains at the edge of the mat. Florence, if you could set the captain, and Maricopa, if you could set the captain. If we could have JV wrestlers at 220 pounds, please check into the head table, please.
You know, I'm pretty much deaf.
Yeah.
I am. I'm deaf. Are we speaking over this? Look at you with the graphics.
All right, here we are for the first JV match of the wrestling meet tonight. I'm joined here in our makeshift broadcast booth with Coach Mike Carlin, who's going to be the new head football coach here at Santan Foothills High School. Mr. Carlin, how you doing tonight?
Not too bad. Excited to come out here and watch the boys and kids wrestle. I know a lot of the Florence kids because I've been with them, and excited to see the Santan kids wrestle.
Yeah, absolutely. And also joined tonight not only by Florence High School and Santan Foothills High School, but also Maricopa High School came out to join so that a lot of these kids that otherwise wouldn't have had a match get a chance to face off with someone. So a really good inter-school spirit here between Maricopa, Florence High School, and Santan Foothills High School.
Yep, it's good to see that because it's no fun to show up to a match and not get to wrestle anybody. So it's a good thing Coach Johnson worked this out.
And so we're starting off tonight with a junior varsity matchup. This is featuring Santan Foothills' Skylar Ritchie versus Maricopa High School's Dahlia Anderson. As we see the wrestlers working, 1 minute and 5 seconds remaining to go in the first period as the referee calls a stoppage to the match for a moment. And it looks like the wrestlers will be swapping colors there.
I think they just had the wrong ones on to start with.
Yeah, that would make scoring rather interesting if the colors on the wrestlers didn't match what the referee was scoring.
It's true.
And Ritchie working against Anderson, the two of them in the neutral position, looking for an advantage against one another. Skylar Ritchie looking for some hand control over Anderson, still in the neutral position with 50 seconds remaining. You know, both of these wrestlers looking for an in. See a takedown there.
Takedown, yep. He went for the headlock, and Dahlia slipped out of it.
And Anderson in a good position here as we hit the 30-second mark as she works against Ritchie on the mat. It looks like I think that's a half Nelson that she's trying to work into there. Well, I'm not great with wrestling here.
Yeah. I know some things, but yeah, she's trying to work. Yeah, that's the half Nelson right there. She's trying to turn him. She just needs to get it in deep and run it.
On that buzzer will end period number 1. A strong showing there by Dahlia Anderson. It would be a little bit easier to call if they were running just like a 4-3 defense out there or something.
Yeah. Something I'm a little more familiar with.
Absolutely. We have the coin toss by the referee. Ritchie's going to start in the down position. Anderson starting in the advantage here, and we saw in period number 1 that she's pretty effective when she has control of the match. So starting here, it's going to set a unique challenge for Ritchie who last period didn't show that he could escape from that hold, and he's really going to have to work to get some points here in period number 2.
He's going to have to sit out. Looks like he's just has. Oop. There you go. Can't lock your hands, and Richie gets a point out of it.
And that's something that's so hard to do. Now I wasn't a high school wrestler myself, but in watching what these athletes are trying to accomplish, just the natural tendency is to want to lock your hands and get leverage, and it's really hard to resist that instinct.
Yeah, you just got to grab your own wrist or put your palms together, but you can't lock your hands. He just needs to keep working.
And you can see Richie out there starting to tire as Anderson continually keeps him in that hold, and struggling to escape there is Skylar Ritchie.
Yep. He needs to get back to his belly.
And you can see Anderson just using that body position to make it almost impossible for Skylar Ritchie to move. And we might be looking at a pin here. Ritchie working to keep that shoulder off the mat.
Oh, there we go.
But you get in that position right there, and it's so hard to recover from, especially when the other wrestler has that advantage. Their weight is coming down on you. Keeping those shoulders off is a real tough ask.
Yeah. She was able to turn him and get him on his back, and she just kept him there.
And there we go. That's going to be the junior varsity match. Only one junior varsity match on tonight's broadcast. We're going to go into the varsity matchup, and the random selection was a 152-pound match, which is going to be Jared Shumway from Santan Foothills taking on Maricopa High School's Wyatt Keller. So we'll see what Jared Shumway here can do against Keller. And this is one of those interesting setups here, because Jared Shumway is going to be facing a wrestler from Maricopa. Now officially this meet is against Florence High School, so Maricopa is joining us here today to get just a lot of competition in, to get some work for their wrestlers, which is so important, especially in a season like this that's been impacted by COVID and closures and quarantines. Getting a chance to get out there on the mat and wrestle is just so important for these kids.
Yeah, they don't get to go to tournaments this year, and they get 3 or 4 matches on a weekend in a tournament, and just to get better at their craft and their skills. And in a match like this today, they get one match and they're done for the day. So it's kind of hamstrung them a little bit on the work they need to get in and to get better.
We have a little bit of a delay here, so we're waiting to see what's going on with Wyatt Keller there of Maricopa. That was on our pregame sheet here, but it looks like we're having some discussion about who's going to come out to face Jared Shumway in the 152-pound matchup here. You look out there on the court, and you can see Shumway definitely looks ready.
All right, here we go. Looks like Wyatt Keller's making his way out.
Yeah, and one of the things we've talked about on some of the broadcasts that you haven't been here for, one of the interesting things about this season is watching the wrestlers not only compete in this really strength-heavy and sport that has so much conditioning, but having to do it wearing masks just changes it so much, and changes what you need to do for conditioning. And
yeah, and I mean, if you just practice with it on all the time like they should, it's like getting heat acclimated out in football. You probably just get used to it, and at the beginning it had to be awkward as heck. But I imagine at this point of the season they've kind of come accustomed to it, and they're used to it, and just know how to deal with it. I wouldn't like it.
Just an added degree of difficulty in an already difficult sport.
Yeah, it is.
You see Shumway out there taking on Wyatt Keller, both wrestlers working from the neutral position as they try and get some sort of advantage 30 seconds into the match. Going low is Keller, but not able to find that takedown. Wrestlers continue to jostle for hand position. Referee looks on. 50 seconds into this match, we don't have a takedown, and we're going to have a
little stalemate. Just reset him. There we go.
Oh, and after that stalemate call, they had Jared Shumway just shoots to the knees of Keller.
White did a good job of sprawling and getting around him for the takedown.
Yeah, that was a very good technical move right there to come out of the advantage. But after a stalemate call, you like to see the aggressiveness of Shumway just going for it and hitting the mat and going for that takedown. And a great reversal.
Reversal there. He's working getting his head pulled out, and he got his head out and was able to get around him.
Let's see what Shumway's able to do in the last 30 seconds of period number 1 of this 152-pound matchup. Shumway working against Keller near the center of the mat.
He's going to try to turn him. He's got an arm bar, and he's going to try to walk it over his head.
Shumway working really well, but might be running out of time here with 10 seconds left.
Yep. Just don't let him escape so you can keep your points.
Unable to hold on to it for the final 5 seconds, so there is a point awarded to Keller for the escape.
All right, so that's some good action there.
Yeah, it started off the first half of that first period really looked... I mean, the stalemate could have been called at any point. There wasn't a lot of action, but as soon as Shumway shot to the mat, both wrestlers showing their technical skill in wrestling with a takedown and a reversal and an escape all in the period about 1 minute there.
Yep. Jared chose down here. He probably feels he has an advantage in escape because he just had an escape and a reversal. He's going to try to do that again.
That was a strong start. He almost completed it there. But I think that's a half Nelson by Keller as he tries to keep Shumway under control.
Yep. All right.
So the referee is going to stop the action there, award 1 point to Shumway.
Looked like he warned him or got him for a full Nelson.
Yeah, and wrestling is already such a dangerous sport. Like, keeping those holds out is important.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of those rules, like the full Nelsons and the not locking your hands, all that is in the interest of athlete safety.
Yeah, safety and fair play.
You can see Keller here continuing to work against Shumway, center of the mat. 1 minute, 5 seconds to go in period number 2. Shumway still looking for the escape. But as you can imagine, just looks absolutely exhausted out there on the match.
Yeah. Well, that's why they put in a lot. They put a lot of time in the wrestling room.
And that's the thing about wrestling. You watch what's going on here, the upper body strength and the technical positioning, and a lot of what you're seeing out here are skills that transfer out onto the football field or out to the baseball field. Wrestling is a tremendous sport for feeding other programs as well.
Sure is. Pretty much doing the takedown is tackling somebody. And as a football coach, I appreciate all the kids that wrestle because they're usually excellent defenders.
And I think we are pretty fortunate here to have Coach Darren Johnson at Santan Foothills, just an outstanding wrestling coach that's spent time here as well as at Perry High School, knows what he's doing, and draws a lot of kids into this program.
Yep, looks like he's doing a good job of recruiting because he's the one school here today that's got a full lineup.
And Shumway there in period number 2 survives period number 2, and in fact, the only scoring in period number 2 was the call by the referee awarding 1 point to Shumway, so we are 3-3 going into period number 3 here. What's interesting about period number 2 is Shumway wasn't able to escape throughout that entire match, or that entire period, but here we are tied going into period number 3.
Yep. Well, stop that out of bounds.
See Shumway looking over at Coach Johnson. As time is stopped with 1 minute 51 seconds in this final period of the 152-pound matchup.
Now, this is my first match I've watched this year. If a mask comes off during wrestling, do the referees stop and make them put the mask on, or do they just wait till the whistle?
So what we've seen so far this year is generally they'll let the mask kind of dip a little bit and adjust it during a natural stoppage unless they feel it's a safety concern.
Oh, he's going for the half.
Oh, and there's an escape there.
He's going to get a takedown.
And Keller showcasing a little bit of his quickness there to escape the hold there by Shumway. Wrestlers continue to work. 1 minute, 5 seconds. And there's a takedown there by Keller. 2 additional points as we're... Shumway looking at a little bit of a deficit here with 1 minute left.
Yeah, he's going to have to... Got about 50 seconds left. He's got to get a little more aggressive.
40 seconds as we watch Shumway continue to work there against Wyatt Keller, but Wyatt Keller in a good position, and after 5.5 minutes here on the mat, you can only imagine how much energy Shumway has expended. He's really going to have to dig deep here in the last 20 seconds of the match if he's going to come back.
Well, Keller's working a half Nelson. He's going to try to turn him. Jared tried to roll through it. There he goes, got back to his belly. Just needs to stand up. That was kind of a quick near fall call on that one. I didn't think he'd had him down enough.
But that buzzer is going to end the match, and Wyatt Keller is going to be victorious with a final score of 8-3 after 3 periods of wrestling here. We're going to take a short break and be back for the 170-pound matchup in just a moment. All right, we are back here on the Santan Foothills channels. We see a takedown here. We have a change in the booth. Keith Castillo is joining us as well, and much more knowledgeable about wrestling.
All right, so we started off with a big headlock. We had a big throw by...
It's going to be Jesus Villalobos in the 170-pound match, taking on Elvis Ruiz from Maricopa High School.
All right. Looks like he's trying to work that headlock over still.
Yeah, good positioning there by Villalobos. If you're Ruiz in this position right here, it's going to take a lot of energy to escape that headlock, but he does with the reversal.
Ruiz pulls his head out. All right, so we get a reversal. Earns himself 2 points. He's now working that half Nelson, looking for maybe a cradle off to the right. All right. Oh, he's driving it across, and he's working the cradle. He's got the cradle. He's got the hands locked up. Oh, and he's saved as they work themselves outside of the ring.
You know, and that's one of the things that I've noticed calling wrestling. This is the first season that we've called wrestling here at Santan Foothills. And so not having a lot of experience, one of the things that I've noticed is as you get into these heavier weight classes, the 170-pounders, the 220-pound, the strength just goes up so much as you get to these heavier wrestlers. Then you get to the lighter wrestlers, and you see a lot more speed and a lot more quick takedowns and things like that.
Yes, there's a lot more technique at the lower weight classes, but the upper weight classes there's a lot more strength, and then right in the middle it's a combination of both, and those are some electric matches. Those are some big ones.
And you can see that in this one right here with Jesus Villalobos and Elvis Ruiz. Just the athleticism, the strength, but really the quickness that both these wrestlers are showing out there on the mat right now.
Yes. So right now Ruiz is on top. He's trying to drive over Mr. Villalobos here. He's working for the cradle again, trying to lock his hands underneath. Jesus has got to extend that leg. He's got to block it. All right, looks like he's done so successfully. Ruiz spins over to the right, looking for a half. He's trying to work it in. Jesus is fighting the half on both sides. And we may...
Yeah, Villalobos working for that escape there.
We don't know. We almost...
Or a reversal.
We have a reversal. Here we go. Jesus has got himself a headlock. He's looking to roll him onto his back, start earning some near fall. He's got two. Oh, no. And we're getting a little scramble.
And we have 2 seconds remaining. Oh, and right before that buzzer, referee awards another reversal, so we're going to have Ruiz taking a 6-5 lead into period number 2. A lot of action there in the last 30 seconds with a couple reversals as both those wrestlers working really hard to get out of those holds.
Yes. That was excellent work. Right now we've got Jesus talking to Coach Johnson.
Yeah, and as I understand, you coached with Coach Johnson over at Perry High School.
I did. I coached with Coach Johnson for about 5 or 6 years. I learned everything I know about wrestling from him. Great coach, great guy, a lot of fun. All right, so we start with Ruiz up on top. He breaks Jesus down to his belly, and we're working some hands. We're working some power half Nelsons. No, just kind of working right now, both wrestlers.
You know, as we're on the topic here of Coach Johnson, one of the interesting things about Coach Johnson that he wanted to mention was that he was a middleweight conference champion back in Minnesota when he was in high school back in 1986, which I think makes him close to 95 years old. I'm trying to do the math here.
All right. Ruiz, we got some actions. Ruiz gets himself a cradle, but Jesus is able to work himself out, but not until he's lost himself 2 points of near fall. Again, Ruiz has got the cradle. He's got some near fall. Jesus is on his back. He's fighting desperately. And there it is.
The way the bodies are flying around the mat there, and just the way that they're able to kind of contort their bodies and shift their body weight to try and hold off some of those pins, and just absolutely amazing. But Ruiz able to hold on.
Able to get both of those shoulder blades down at the same time, and he earns himself a fall.
And so that 170-pound matchup is going to go to Elvis Ruiz from Maricopa High School taking down Santan Foothills' Jesus Villalobos. That's going to bring us to the 182-pound match, which is actually a forfeit tonight, so Robert Legler will earn a forfeit in this match against Florence High School. Next two wrestlers out on the mat will actually be the 195-pound match. Santan Foothills' Caleb Hickson taking on Florence High School's Richard Lamb. Now, one of the things that we've seen here, we're very fortunate to have Coach Johnson here at Santan Foothills. Just the way he's been able to grow the program, and for someone like myself who spent a lot of time with football and basketball, the more traditional sports, I hadn't had a chance to come to a lot of wrestling matches, but what he's able to do with this and the way he's able to explain it and even help me with it, it shows why he connects so well with these wrestlers and the kids here at Santan Foothills.
Oh, I very much agree. He helped grow the program where I worked with him, Perry High School. At one point, I think he had over 100 wrestlers in the program. That's a lot of bodies in one room, and they worked hard. So we have some instant action here. Oh, we have Richard Lamb. Or is that Caleb?
And that's a very quick pin, and that shows why Caleb Hickson, currently a senior, ranked number 11 in the state, and he shows why is that's a very quick pinfall against Richard Lamb there.
Yes. There was some hand fighting. There was a headlock thrown, and right to the back, right to the pin. Well done, Caleb.
You know, and you admire the effort of Richard Lamb right there, coming out and taking on Caleb Hickson, but Caleb Hickson is such a skilled wrestler that anybody that goes up against him has to bring their A game to stay into a match for any length of time, because you can see the strength of Caleb Hickson there.
Yes. Now we're starting the heavyweights. These are the athletes that they're near and dear to my heart. These are the big boys. These are the muscles. These are, excellent. Go ahead and introduce.
Yeah, this is Zeke Hodo, who is a senior captain here on the Santan Foothills team, taking on Florence High School Jacob Cook. And one of the interesting things about Jacob Cook, Jacob Cook was actually a 7th and an 8th grade student when I was over at Florence K-8, so I'm familiar with both these wrestlers and excited to see what they can bring to the mat.
Excellent. All right, they tie up right away, start to work together. All right, they're getting some hand fighting here, jockeying for position. Looks like Zeke tries for a duck under. Jacob tries to shoot. Zeke is spinning around. He sprawls well. He's turning to his left, and Zeke gets the takedown. 2 points for Zeke.
A good effort here out of Jacob Cook, but you can see the senior experience of Zeke Hodo, somebody who's been in so many matches, just instinctively moving his body to keep Jacob Cook from having any chance of escaping that hold right now.
There we go. Zeke has a power half Nelson in. He's got Jacob. He's torquing around on that. Oh, no, it slips out. Jacob was able to avoid it. He gets broken down to his belly again. Zeke was working. Oh, here he goes. He's working the arm bar. Zeke has the arm bar across. He's got a pin to the lower back of Jacob. Jacob's not in a very fun position. That is a lot of pain. And Zeke's got the half Nelson in with the arm bar, and he rolls him over. And Zeke is getting some near fall here. Oh, if he can keep him down. Oh, looks like Zeke overextended himself a little bit, and he's going to be able to get out. All right, that is 3 near fall for Zeke. Jacob avoids the pin, but narrowly.
And watching this match right here, you can just see the technical skill of Zeke Hodo, just naturally moving the hands of Jacob Cook, getting that armbar in, getting that half Nelson in, and Jacob Cook really not in a great spot here against Zeke Hodo as we come up with the 22nd mark of period number 1.
Agreed. Zeke, he had the armbar again, but he gave it up for just a good old half Nelson. There it is, onto his back. He looks like he's got it pretty tight, and there it is, Zeke Hodo with the pin.
Yeah, he overextends on that first one, but that second one, Jacob Cook firmly planted on the mat. Not much of a chance of an escape there for Jacob Cook as Zeke Hodo takes his victory against Florence High School wrestler Jacob Cook. And that is going to bring us to the heavyweight matchup. And another strong wrestler coming up for Santan Foothills, Dylan Maselli, currently holding a record of 10-1, also one of the senior captains on this team, taking on Javian Montanez of Florence High School.
All right, the two wrestlers tie up. They're trying to snap. They're working for position. They get in tight, tie up, working some over-under, circling each other on the mats. They separate briefly, come back together with a little bit of force. That's excellent to see. Some aggression. Both wrestlers still working for some advantage. Working the arms, trying to get some underhooks. No, all right. Dylan seems to have a little bit of advantage. He takes an outside leg shot. He's got the leg of Javon. He's driving it up, trying to work him over. And, the two wrestlers fall out of bounds. The referee signals no points. We are still in neutral.
This is quite the heavyweight matchup right there. You can just see the raw strength out there on the mat as those two wrestlers work against one another.
Agreed. Javon takes a shot. Dylan gets a great sprawl and is able to spin around behind, earn himself 2 points.
How about the quickness there of Montanez, though, shooting the knees?
Yes. Dylan looks like he's working for breaks Javon down to his belly, and he goes for the power half. He gets that forearm planted on the neck, goes underneath the shoulder, starts trying to hike it over, doesn't work. Tries for a crossface. No, we'll go back to the power half on the right side. Dylan is driving over. Javon is doing a good job of countering it.
A good job here of Maselli understanding what's working and what's not, going for those different holds, and as soon as he realizes that they're not as effective as what he's been doing, retreating to the holds that he sees are at least being effective as time rolls down here in period number 1.
Exactly. That shows a lot of why Dylan is 10-1, because he's trying multiple different things. He's being strategic about it.
And from what I've seen in some of these matches right here, that's one of the problems you get into, especially with the inexperienced wrestlers. You know the hold you should be going for, you know what you're trying to do, but if it's not working, having another plan on how you're going to win the match without trying to go through something that may be going into another wrestler's strength.
Agreed. They continue to fight. Dylan is on top. Javon has worked himself back to his all four. Dylan in. End of period 1. We did have Javon get called for a stalling call while Dylan was working his power halves back and forth on either side. So 1 or 2 more of those. I don't remember exactly, and Dylan will earn a point. So
as it stands, we go into period number 2 here with a 2-0 lead for Dylan Maselli over Florence High School's Javian Montanez. And referee does correct that score, so 3-0 score going into period number 2. Javian Montanez starting in the advantage position over Maselli.
Yep. So Dylan starts on bottom, and here we go. Dylan is working to earn that escape. He sits out. He tries once. He goes back to his leg. He's worked his way to his feet. He's fighting the hands. They're working around, working towards the edge, and the wrestlers work themselves off of the mat and back into the starting position. Dylan on bottom.
You feel like if that circle was just about a foot wider, he probably would have had an escape there. He was very close to getting out of that hold.
Dylan tries to sit out again. He's not able to. Oh, and he gets a roll. Dylan has, oh boy, that was fast.
Wow. Montanez just kind of overextended trying to get an advantage there and rolled right over to his back. And when Dylan Maselli...
He smelled blood in the water.
Absolutely.
Took advantage. He gets himself a pin very quickly. Well done, Dylan.
Strong showing by Dylan Maselli as he moves to 11-1 on this season. You know, closing out the tail end of this wrestling season right here, and what might go down as probably one of the most interesting athletic seasons in high school and AIA sports history, with school closures and the masks and all the stuff that these athletes have been dealing with. Closing out this interesting season, it really a testament to the success of the AIA, keeping these athletes safe and allowing these competitions to continue.
Agreed.
And now we're going to the smaller wrestlers here. 106-pound matchup featuring Santan Foothills Norvin Avila versus Maricopa DK Shelby.
And the two wrestlers tie up right away. They start working for some hand control. We see some hand fighting. DK.
It's such a huge contrast from the 220-pound and the heavyweights going to the 106-pound weight.
Agreed. Norvin takes a shot. There's a scramble. No points earned. And there we go. Norvin has earned himself a 2-point takedown. He grabs the ankle. He drives it forward, trying to work DK down to his stomach. He gets an elbow, pulls him around. We have some scramble.
And so much improvement here from Norvin Avila. He's 3 varsity wins, and this is his first year wrestling, so nowhere to go but up here for Avila as he improves his wrestling skills.
No doubt. That is a testament to some great coaching and to some hard-working athletes, because I would not have guessed that he is in his first year. He is wrestling like he is an experienced wrestler. DK is able to make his way up to his feet, but he's brought back down again by Norvin.
Good use of the leg there to throw Shelby off balance and get him back down to the net, to the mat.
Norvin is looking for the cradle. It looks like he may have it locked. He's trying to pull himself. He does have the hands locked. He's got DK on his back. His feet are up in the air. DK is fighting. Norvin's got him pretty well dead to rights. All he has to do right now, he's only got one shoulder on the ground. If Norvin pulls himself out a little bit, he's going to get himself some points, some pin points. He's so close. There it is. Ref calls it. Gets a pin with a... whatever that move is, I just won't call.
They all have names, but we don't have to know them all.
Right, you're right.
And such in talking about the contrast, when you see Shelby in that position right there, the heavyweights, they get a little momentum. You can break that hold really easily, but with a 106-pound frame, not as much body weight to flail out of those holds, and it is much more dangerous for a pinfall there.
Agreed.
And so there is no 113-pound matchup tonight, so that's going to bring us to the 120-pound matchup. This is going to be a Florence High School, Maricopa High School matchup. Bryce Coffey taking on Tanner Newsom. You know, and once again, we really appreciate Maricopa High School coming out here to join us in this meet right here. You know, a lot of these players, or a lot of these wrestlers in the matchup between Santan Foothills and Florence High School, a lot of the matches were going to end up in forfeits. Maricopa coming out to fill out this roster so we can have a full night of wrestling tonight.
That's wonderful. I love it when wrestling coaches come together to grow their sport and to work together. But we've got a lot of action right off the bat. It looks like Bryce Coffey from Florence. He gets a quick takedown as well as 3 quick near fall points, and he lets Tanner go. So we are back to neutral. Score is, I believe,
2-0 in favor of Maricopa.
Oh, maybe he did not get the near fall I thought he got then. So, oh, no, it should be 5-1. All right, there it is, 5-1. All right. This wrestlers are circling each other, fainting a shot, and who gets it in? I believe that's Bryce. Coffey's got the shot, and I think that's
Coffey with the advantage right now, working.
Looks like he got the 2-point takedown. Scores now 7-1. He's got Tanner on his belly, and he's working for control, working that forearm in the back of the head. Tanner's able to work himself up, and the wrestlers work themselves outside of the ring.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to tell much about the scoring from where we are because Maricopa and Florence High School are both red and white, so almost looks like the same wrestler out there when they get moving too quick.
Yeah, very much so. All right, Bryce continues to work. Tanner in the bottom position. Bryce takes him down to his belly, working for advantage, trying to work some underneath, hike those elbows back, work those joints, and it looks like we're going to get an armbar. There we go. Bryce is working the armbar. He's got Tanner rolling over. Tanner rolls to his back, trying to escape. Bad
position for Tanner Newsom right there.
Yes.
Able to roll out of it and back into it.
And he gets himself out of it. Well done, Tanner. Bryce earns himself 3 near fall points, pulls Tanner right back towards his back. Tanner's trying to arch up. He's trying to get out. He's trying to work himself to his belly, and he is able to. Bryce earns himself 2 more near fall points. And we start over. Bryce on top and Tanner on the bottom.
A lot of scoring there for Florence High School, but really interesting to see Tanner Newsom in those near falls and uses his lower body, uses his feet to kick off the mat and avoid the pin. Gave up a lot of points, but he is still in this. And
excellent. That is a hard fight when they've got your shoulders torqued like that. It does not feel very nice.
Oh, and that's one of the interesting things about wrestling compared to some of the other AAA sports, like say football or basketball. If you go into the third or fourth quarter of a basketball game and a team is trailing by 30, it's pretty evident who's going to win. In a wrestling match like this, it is entirely possible, even with a 12-2 lead, that one mental lapse leads to a pinfall and the match completely turns.
Exactly. So looks like Bryce wins the toss and defers to the third half. So Tanner, he chooses the bottom position to start the second period. Wrestling begins. Tanner tries to sit out. He's almost able to get it, not able to. Bryce takes Tanner down to his stomach again. Bryce is working for some control. Looks like he's got an arm trapped between his legs. He's working Tanner over onto his back, and it looks like we are going to be done here. There it is.
And that's the difference right there. In that first quarter, when you had those near falls, you didn't have control over the lower body, you didn't have control over the legs. And in that pinfall right there, the big difference was being able to control the lower body strength there of Tanner Newsom.
Agreed.
And so that's going to bring us to our 126-pound match. Santan Foothills, Austin Maselli taking on Florence High School, Dakota Ballard. Maselli, 5 matches won so far this year in his first year on varsity. So really showcasing some strong wrestling skills so far.
And here we go. Austin and Dakota tie up right away. They start working together, working around. Both wrestlers pushing for an advantage, tying up. Both very low to the mat. Working forward. Dakota working backwards slightly. Austin circling, pulling him back into the match.
Interesting how low both these wrestlers are keeping their body weight to avoid those takedowns and keep their center of gravity.
Agreed. Especially at those low weights where they're very quick. They will take a shot, and it will be lightning quick.
Like you see right there, both wrestlers going after the legs of the other, still in the neutral position, but we have a lot of action.
He's got himself a cow catcher. He's got one arm underneath. He's trying to snap Dakota down, and there it goes. He's getting ready to drive it over. Cow catcher right into a half Nelson. He's got Dakota on his back. He's got his 2-point takedown. He's getting some some near fall points. Dakota trying desperately to stay off of his back to avoid the pin. Austin is just squeezing it tight. And we've got about 53 seconds left in this period. That's a lot of, there's the pin.
And you can just feel the energy coming from the Santan Foothills benches. They absolutely love that takedown.
Excellent, yes. That cow catcher is a wonderful move. You get one arm underneath the neck, and you get one arm underneath the shoulder, and then the one that's underneath the shoulder hikes up while the other one hikes down, and you're able to roll your opponent onto their back almost before you get them to the mat.
Yeah, I don't know that so far this season that I've seen that move yet, but and judging by the Santan Foothills reaction there, they might not be seeing that a whole lot, but very excited to cheer on their teammate as works himself into a pinfall and takes us to the 132-pound matchup. Danny McIver versus Maricopa High School Angelo Romero.
And right off the bat, we have a shot. It looks like Angelo takes a shot on Danny, is able to get himself 2 takedown points. We are scrambling. Angelo has got a half Nelson in. He's trying to circle around, and he's not able to, and Angelo sets him free, giving Danny a 1-point escape. The two wrestlers tie up together, and Angelo takes another shot. Danny's able to avoid it with a sprawl, but Angelo reshoots, is able to take Danny down, get himself another 2-point takedown, and again, Angelo lets him go, giving Danny 1 point. Danny takes a shot. Angelo sprawls, no points. Angelo takes another shot and is able to take Danny to the mat. He gets himself his 2-point takedown. Angelo's working the arms underneath. Danny is able to work back to his feet. Nope, back down. Looks like Angelo is working in that half Nelson. Danny working the counter to it. All right, and Danny's worked his way to his belly. Angelo's working the hands.
So what's the strategy involved? You saw a couple releases there, seemingly on purpose. Is he trying to shoot in again and get a different kind of takedown, a different hold? Why is he doing that in this match?
Well, every takedown counts as 2 points. Every escape counts as 1 point. So every time Angelo does that, he's earning 1 point. And so when you are pretty confident that you can take your opponent down on command, there's a tendency to shoot, take him down, let him go, get yourself 1 point, shoot, take him down, let him go, get yourself another point. And if you end up increasing your score by more than 15 points, then you get what's called a tech fall. And the tech fall counts for, I think, 5 team points, whereas a regular fall counts for 6.
Oh, and speaking of falls here, we might have one in the next 5 seconds. McIver has to really work to stay off the mat here. And that buzzer saves him. I think he was probably 2 or 3 seconds from a pinfall there.
No doubt. Danny, way to fight Mr. McIver. He was on his back, and his coaches let him know there was short time. They told him all you have to do is ride it out, and he was able to do that, avoid the pin. Well done.
So he's got a 2-9 deficit going into period number 2, but those Sabercats there on the sideline cheering on McIver. They're excited to see him survive into period number 2 and have another chance to take down Angelo Romero here.
And it looks like Angelo Romero decided to pick the down position to start the second period and is able to get himself an escape on Danny. There it is. Angelo takes another shot on Danny, gets him up into the air, takes him directly to his stomach, and is able to get his 2-point takedown. Now Angelo's working the half Nelson. Danny's doing a good job of keeping his elbows next to his waist, therefore keeping that the hand off the half, keeping the half Nelson out. Oh, but he's works himself down. Angelo's got the half Nelson in pretty tight. He's rolling Danny over. Come on, fight, Danny.
You got to like the fight of McIver there. Romero definitely looks to be the more skilled wrestler out there on the mat, but the sheer grit and determination of McIver is what's driving this to be a fairly long match where
Agreed.
He could have easily seen a pinfall in the first 30 to 60 seconds of the match, but he's still out there fighting.
Exactly, and he's doing a great job. Angelo is able to get 3 more near fall points and is able to avoid the pin again, and he pulls away. There goes Angelo, has worked the half Nelson in again. Danny's still fighting. He refuses to be pinned. And there it is. Angelo gets 3 more near fall points, changing the score to 18-2, resulting in a tech fall.
Yeah, but you got to admire Danny McIver out there hanging with Romero for over half the match and I don't have much of a background on the Maricopa wrestlers as they joined pretty late, but Romero definitely looks to have a bright wrestling future.
Agreed. And I can't, the coaches are talking to Danny right now, and they're giving him nothing but props because he just saved his team 1 point by not being pinned. So way to go, Danny. Way to fight. Angelo, great job working that tech fall.
And that is going to bring us to the 138-pound matchup. Santan Foothills Anthony Hood taking on Florence High School Donovan Feeney. Hood is a varsity captain with an even record on the season. He looks to get back into the winning record column here as he takes on Feeney.
The match starts away with a lot of excitement. Both wrestlers tie up. Donovan is almost able to get himself a headlock. Anthony is able to feel it, settles his hip down, is able to avoid it, and gets himself a takedown. Anthony's up 2-0. Oh, maybe Donovan is up. I apologize.
Oh, Feeney trying to lift up Hood. Hood is just too strong, able to shift his weight and prevent himself from being taken down. A 1-point escape there as they work their way back into the neutral position.
Well done, Anthony. Way to work himself up and get that 1 point. That 1 point can decide a match.
Well, and that's what you like to see out of your varsity captains, that leadership out there, showing everyone on the bench that you're willing to fight for your team and really inspire them to do well in their matches.
Oh, here we go. It looks like Anthony is able to get himself a takedown. Works his way behind Donovan, and he locks his hands, gets himself a cradle. Anthony, close to the back, he's working Donovan over. There's a little bit of a scramble. It's hard to tell who's in control right now. The ref is definitely giving the points to Anthony. He's getting his near fall points. Anthony is able to get 3 near fall points, changing the score to 5-2. Anthony. We're having a little bit of a scramble. Looks like Donovan may have got some control. Donovan is able to get himself a reversal. Gets himself 2 points. The score is now 5-4 in favor of Anthony. Donovan's got a half Nelson in pretty tight. He's working to the left. He's circling to the left. Anthony is fighting, trying not to go to his back. He goes to his belly.
On that buzzer will end period number 1. Stark contrast from the last match when we had MacIver taking on Romero. Romero really a lot more skilled, and MacIver was scrambling just to stay in the match. In this one right here, Anthony Hood, Donovan Feeney, very evenly matched, able strength, quickness, takedown, technical skill. They're both kind of showcasing what they can do, and this is a very close wrestling match going into period number 2.
Agreed. Anthony wins the toss, defers to his choice of the third period. Donovan chooses bottom. Match begins. Anthony is able to take Donovan down. Looks like he's working his armbar a little bit. The armbar is one of Coach Johnson's favorite moves. That's one of the very first one he teaches.
And you can see why it's so effective in maintaining control there on the mat. And that control is so important because when you're in the down position, you have to extend so much energy to get those escapes that you put yourself at a bit of a disadvantage if you can't do it quickly.
Agreed. Anthony is working Donovan. Both wrestlers are working hard. They are circling slightly, fighting for some position, working to see which moves can work. Donovan trying to work himself into a good base. Anthony trying to get him down to his belly. Both wrestlers are in a pushing together, trying to, Anthony works for a cradle. He stretches for it, not sure if he's able to get it. Nope. And we are back to Anthony on top, Donovan off on the bottom. Anthony is off to the left-hand side of Donovan. Donovan worked himself back to a base.
And we're coming up on 30 seconds left to go in period number 2.
Oh, we may have a reversal. Oh, no. Anthony is able to slip his head out and avoid the reversal.
Yeah,
well done,
still
Anthony.
no points scored in this period, too. A lot of action, but no points scored through the first 90 seconds.
And here we get a power half Nelson. Anthony's trying to work it over. This is where you get those these middle weight classes that are just a great combination of speed and strength. You can see both these wrestlers are just working, and all the muscles and tendons are flexing and driving. It's very well done.
Yeah, and that buzzer will end period number 2, and that's a great point, because as we watch these mid-weight wrestlers, the quickness is really impressive, but some of these failed escaped attempts are really a result of just how much strength both these wrestlers have, whereas in the smaller weight classes, those escapes probably would have been successful.
Yes, agreed. Anthony, to start the third period, goes to the bottom, is able to stand up rather quickly, almost gets himself an escape. Ref calls it as no change, and there it is. Anthony gets himself 2 points for a reversal. He's got Donovan worked himself onto the mat, stomach on the mat. Anthony is working. He's trying to get some wrist control, trying to drive that wrist out to the side. There it goes, and Donovan's able to fend it off.
Yeah, Donovan's going to have to start thinking about how to score some points here, as another scoreless period is not going to end well for him. But he just looks so exhausted out there fighting off Anthony Hood for these past 2 or 3 minutes of wrestling time that he's going to have to dig deep to.
And we get Anthony. He had a half Nelson in there, and his other hand slipped underneath the shoulder, came back and touched the back of the head, which constitutes a full Nelson and a point for the other team, Donovan. So Donovan does get himself a point because Anthony did use an illegal move, a full Nelson. So we go back to Anthony on bottom. Donovan on bottom, Anthony on top. Wrestling continues, and it looks like Anthony's working for another cradle, and he's got the hands locked. He's trying to slide out. He's earning himself some near fall points. Looks like he's got it in pretty tight. All he has to do is get those shoulders down, and Donovan's going to get himself pinned. Donovan's able to work himself out of it. Anthony loses control of the cradle, and we have a little bit of a scramble. Donovan currently on top, Anthony on the bottom.
And those are 3 important points in this match, as it kind of takes Feeney out of striking distance. He'll need a pin to make it back in this match with 20 seconds remaining now.
Yes, Anthony is able to avoid the reversal and gets himself back in control, back on top of Donovan. Anthony is currently working the half Nelson. Donovan is countering. Short time left, only about 5 seconds left. And there's the time.
And that was a very close match. Even though the score is 10-5, you've got Santan Foothills doubling up Florence High School. That match was a lot closer than it appears on the scoreboard. Those are 2 very evenly matched wrestlers, and in a different match, that easily could have been gone the other way.
Agreed.
And that is going to bring us to our final match tonight, the 145-pound matchup featuring Santan Foothills' David Rabeloff versus Florence High School's Bronk Cordova.
Got a note here from Coach Johnson that David is a first-year wrestler. He's got 2 varsity wins as a freshman, which is impressive. Match starts.
And one of the things that I've noticed in watching Rabeloff this season is just his tenacity on the mat, never giving up and constantly moving, giving his opponents fits as they try and figure out how to take him down.
Agreed. David comes out very aggressive. That looks good. Bronk looks like a rather seasoned wrestler. He's got some great defense, and he's able to take David down. 2 points to Florence High School there. Bronk has David down on his stomach. Bronk is working for some wrist control. He's working some hand control. Looks like Bronk is trying to work a half Nelson in from the right-hand side. It looks like he's got it in. Bronk is rolling David over. David's fighting, and he rolls to his
dangerous
back.
Position here.
Yes. This does not look very good for David. There it is.
And Bronk Cordova able to show what a skilled wrestler he is. But even so, David Rabeloff
And
as a freshman, has really 3 more years of wrestling ahead of him, and you can just see the skill that he's going to have when he's a senior. He's going to be out there, and he's going to be that wrestler that everyone's afraid to take on because of his skills.
Agreed.
Brock Cordova.
And Keith, that's going to take us to the end of tonight's broadcast. That is all the matches we have for tonight. Thank you for joining us here at Santan Foothills High School.
Hey, it was a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me, Principal Miller.
On behalf of the staff and students here at Santan Foothills High School, thank you for everyone who joined us for tonight's varsity wrestling matchup. Have a great night.